This is my friend Jeff. He's also an ex-convict.
I think these guys want to see me go to jail.
Quick!
Oh, the vlog squad. I'm gonna die.
In the summer of 2020, Jeff Wittek's life would change forever. At the time, Jeff was a member of David Dobrik's crew known as the Vlog Squad. Although he had appeared in a couple old TV shows and became popular on Vine, Jeff was mainly known due to his connection with David. His unique background and sense of humor quickly made him a fan favorite amongst David's viewers, allowing him to create his own popular YouTube series, Jeff's Barbershop, where he managed to experience his first time being canceled.
I'm nicer, dude. You don't care about
cyberbullying
kids.
The world was in lockdown after a global pandemic hit earlier on in the year. With everyone trapped inside, the daily vlogs had stopped. By June, restrictions were beginning to ease, and David was planning on coming back to YouTube bigger than ever. Having been inspired by Devon Supertramp, the plan was to create a video doing extremely dangerous stunts you'd only see trained professionals attempt, except it would be by YouTubers. Of course, the YouTubers in question wouldn't actually be David himself, but the responsibility would fall on people like Jeff to make the content. Having already conquered the fear of jumping out of a plane countless times, Jeff met up with David and the others in Utah to film more stunts.
We're in the middle of the lake. We have this tractor, and then we have Heath and Todd.
David got into the excavator and began swinging the rest of the guys around, allowing them to essentially wakeboard in the same spot. Inevitably, though, they wanted to up the ante and Corinna jumped on to be swung above the water. However, after causing the rope to drop due to the speed she was going, Corinna immediately got off and told David he takes things too far. With that in mind, Jeff was up next. And to no surprise, this happened.
Oh shit!
After being swung almost parallel to the ground, Jeff crashed into the side of the excavator, causing him to shatter his skull in 9 places, shatter his eye socket, break his foot and hip, and left him with some torn ligaments to top it all off. Despite suffering lifelong injuries, Jeff kept the incident quiet for almost a year to protect David, often making jokes about the situation.
Legally, I can't get into what happened.
I just got out of the hospital. I was in a coma.
I fell off a building.
This wouldn't stop the internet from speculating as to what had actually happened. Many people began commenting on Jeff's weight and appearance, wondering if this was just a bad Botox job, when in reality they couldn't have been further from the truth. With Jeff now facing eye surgeries for the rest of his life, he had to adapt his lifestyle. As someone who prides himself on working out to keep sane, that was all gone. Jeff needed to gain fat in order for his surgeries to be successful. This put Jeff in a really dark place, and eventually he would receive closure as he released his YouTube series, Don't Try This at Home. Episode by episode, Jeff revealed everything that had been going on behind the scenes for the past 10 months, opening up about his mental health. During this time, Jeff had been suffering in silence due to the consequences of David's actions. And despite their minimal contact during this time period, Jeff proved once again he was a loyal friend to David and allowed him to look over the edit and remove anything that made him look bad. A decision he now regrets. Their friendship had been deteriorating over time, and when Casey Neistat began creating a documentary on David Dobrik, their relationship was destroyed. When speaking to Casey, David addressed the incident and put the blame all on Jeff, saying that he always takes things too far.
David blamed me for he insinuated that I was crazy, I always want to push it, and I'm the reason that this happened.
This was the last straw for Jeff. He didn't care about protecting David's reputation and began telling the unfiltered truth about the situation. As hinted in the documentary, despite almost killing one of his close friends, David was very rarely present when Jeff was in recovery. And after the documentary was released, David moved on with his life like nothing had ever happened. Unfortunately for Jeff, it was impossible for him to do the same. While David was out living his best life, Jeff was having surgery after surgery to keep him from going blind. Yet not once would David send a text checking whether Jeff was okay. The only time David would be with Jeff post-surgery would be when him and Natalie wanted to look over the edit for his documentary.
They're like, yo, this is crazy. I just got out of surgery. My eye's bleeding, stitched up, and they're coming over to edit. And they're like, I was asleep, and they're like calling my crew.
There was also an arrangement that David would cover all hospital bills relating to the accident. Turns out, however, David's team missed some bills affecting Jeff's credit rating.
A bill that wasn't paid that I didn't know about because I'm not dealing with it. I got an infraction on my credit now.
In response to Jeff, David made a video with Jason and Natalie explaining the whole situation from his point of view. In the video, he shifted some of the blame onto Jeff and looked to gain sympathy wherever he could.
That day is like the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
Having initially turned down the opportunity to join them in making that video, Jeff responded with a video of his own, picking apart the majority of David's points, and announced he would be taking legal action against David.
I'm just going to take this the right way, the smart way, and just let the courts decide.
2 years after the accident took place, Jeff would sue David Dobrik for $10 million. Having nearly died and suffered lifelong injuries, Jeff claims he's lost wages and earning capacity, as well as accumulating numerous large hospital bills. He is suing Dobrik for general negligence and intentional tort. David is of course arguing that Jeff knew what he was signing up for, and he can't be to blame for what ended up happening. Fast forward to 2024, and the case is still ongoing with no real update.
Nobody got hit by a crane, blamed for it, did insurance fraud, and is now going to jail and losing their green card and going back to Slovakia. Yeah!
There has been a silver lining in all the trauma Jeff has gone through. He has managed to escape the toxic environment he was trapped in, and has since made some very strong friendships, most notably with Tana Mojo and Mike Malak, who he hangs around with on a regular basis. They were both with Jeff whilst he recovered from his most recent eye surgery at the start of 2023, meaning for the past year he has been surgery-free.
Welcome back to another episode of Jeff FM with Mike and Tana.
In that time, he became a temporary co-host on Impulsive with Logan Paul.
I'm just doing this for a couple weeks so then I could leave and clickbait that why I left Impulsive.
And got to travel across the world with his new group of mates. He is uploading a new podcast every single week on Jeff FM with both Tana and Mike, featuring regularly on the show. Jeff's barbershop is back up and running on his main YouTube channel, coinciding with launching his own Amazon store for his hair products. He is now able to push his body physically again, and has carried on jumping off objects thousands of feet in the sky. More recently, he completed the New York Marathon in just under 4 hours. As for David, his reputation has been tarnished for numerous different reasons. His vlogging days on YouTube are now a thing of the past, and he now just spams his content all over Snapchat. These past few years, Jeff has shown he never relied on David for his popularity, and has been able to build an authentic connection to his viewers. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for most of the yes men that were in the vlog squad, and they have now resorted to any means necessary.
Need it bigger! AKS! Yeah!